FCA holding its annual banquet tonight. Sports Director Matt Roberts is live at the event. Joins us now with a coaching legend. Matt?
That's right, David. You may recognize the man here standing next to me, the legendary Bobby Bowden here in town for the FCA South Plains Chapter Victory Banquet tonight. Coach, thanks for being with us and welcome to West Texas.
That's good to be here. I've enjoyed it.
Good, that's good. Always good to hear. Well, you obviously are so very involved in FCA. How did you get started in FCA and why is it so near and dear to your heart?
Well, it's a good question, and the reason is that when I was coaching, handling these young men that we were recruiting, I would find out more than 50% of them didn't have daddies. You know, I mean, I think probably at Florida State, maybe 65% of my boys didn't have daddies. And I could see the need, you know, and the FCA tries to help supplant that, trying to get coaches to be the daddies, you know, and set an example, for trying to get the athletes to be role models. And so I fell in love with it. Now, I spoke last night in Amarillo. I speak here tonight, and tomorrow I'll be in El Paso. Then I'm going home.
All right, making that West Texas swing. Got to love that. Well, obviously, so many high school students, high school athletes here in attendance tonight from all over the South Plains. What's the message you want them to take home with them as they leave here tonight?
Well, most of these people that I'm speaking to is fundraising for the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, you know, but because it takes money to run these programs, and they're all beneficiary to these young boys and these young girls that don't have families, you know. And so the message I do, naturally, try to get everybody to be involved, you know, and then to support FCA, and again, trying to get these athletes, girls and boys, and coaches to be role models for our children.
Absolutely. Well, obviously, back here in West Texas, obviously, Coach Cliff Kingsbury leading the Red Raider football team here on the South Plains. Involved in FCA heavily growing up, what kind of advice would you get to maybe a young coach that is kind of starting his career? Obviously, you have plenty of experience at it, one of the legendary coaches in the game. What kind of advice would you give maybe to a young coach that is starting out his career and trying to build a name for himself in college football?
There's not much I could give him. I think he is fully qualified. I've kind of kept up with his career, you know, and not only an excellent quarterback, but an excellent young coach. And all I know is when you're young, you don't know what the future holds for you. Now, like me, I'm 85. I already know what happened to me, you know. Right, now, he's facing forward. And the big thing is to just be yourself and play with confidence and put your trust in God. That's what I did. I put my trust in God, and he led me through it.
Absolutely. The legendary Coach Bobby Bowden here tonight speaking to the FCA here at the Victory Banquet. Coach, we really appreciate you taking some time. Enjoy your time in West Texas. Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it. David, Terry, of course, we'll be back here in a little while with much more coming up in sports. But until then, let's go and send it back to you guys in the studio.
All right, appreciate it, Matt. It's one of the cool deals right there.
K Sports with Matt Roberts.
Hey there, welcome back out live to the Lubbock Civic Center, the site of tonight's Fellowship of Christian Athletes South Plains Chapter Victory Banquet. Of course, earlier tonight, getting to catch up with Coach Bowden, a tremendous opportunity, able to touch on some Texas Tech football at the time. Of course, Texas Tech coming off their only open scrimmage of the spring down in Midland earlier this weekend. Davis Webb sitting out, leaving Nick Shimonuk and Pat Mahomes to share most of the reps. Mahomes working with the ones throughout the scrimmage. Not a typical spring game, but by all accounts, stats of 12 of 16 for 169 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. An impressive performance from the youngster despite his hectic spring schedule.
Just doing his thing, you know, moving around, making plays, and he had a couple throws, decisions he'd like to have back, but I've been very impressed with the way he's handled. I mean, he'll go to baseball one day, come to football. I mean, that's hard on an 18-year-old kid, especially one with a 4.0. So he's really done well, and he'll continue to get better.
I seen Pat, his mobility, he got out the pocket, you know, and he also he checked a lot of good routes. I just felt like Pat was, you know, he was very accurate, and he made great checks, and he was just being a smart quarterback.
And while Mahomes was in Midland with his football team, his baseball team back here on the South Plains taking care of the Kansas Jayhawks, clinching the series 2-1. Quinn Carpenter taking Big 12 Newcomer of the Week honors, the second consecutive Red Raider to do so. Carpenter going 5 for 9 in the first 2 games of that series. His teammates were able to help finish off the Jayhawks, coming from behind twice yesterday, including an 8th-inning single by Anthony Lyons and a 4-pitch save from Dominic Moreno to get the win, stopping Tech's 4-game losing streak, getting back to 500 in Big 12 play.
They're all important. I mean, we need to play good baseball, and our schedule sets up. I mean, the Big 12 is a great league, and it sets you up where if you play good in the league, you get some opportunities, and we're just getting started in the league. And I mean, it's just good to see the guys respond to Friday. I mean, again, the locker room, I think, is filled with guys with good character and good makeup, and without that, you don't do that.
Well, now we move to a little basketball as the Final Four now set in Indianapolis. Getting to talk earlier to Bobby Bowden, one of the legends in the game of college football. Got some legends in the game of college basketball featured in the Final Four. Mike Krzyzewski taking Duke, Bo Ryan taking Wisconsin, John Calipari taking the Kentucky Wildcats, while Tom Izzo taking his Michigan State Spartans once again to the Final Four. Of course, the KLBK, you're home for the Final Four and the NCAA tournament. As we've been talking about all along, the You Pick'em March Mania bracket contest still ongoing. Take a look at how you guys are doing. Weber taking the lead this week with an impressive-looking bracket, tallying 194 points. Timothy's right behind him, followed, of course, by our director, Chris, lurking in the weeds there in third, followed by Kaz 104 and Gervin. As far as the leaders amongst the newsroom, I am technically in the lead right now, but I don't think we'll have to worry about that too long, as Terry and David lurking there right behind me. And looking at a lot of those brackets, including you and I, Terry, we've taken the Kentucky Wildcats. David, though, going out on a limb, taking Scotty, going to pick the Badgers to upset the Wildcats, and if they do, David might be overtaking a lot of people in that bracket game. So
there
definitely something to watch as we move forward.
That was my plan all along, Matt. I knew all you guys were going to pick Kentucky. You're probably going to be right, but
hope so.
You got. I mean, when you get an opportunity to take an NBA team in a college tournament, I think you have to go ahead and do that. But David, it might pay off for you. So we'll have to see how this one plays out.
We'll have to wait and see. We appreciate it, Matt. Yeah, there might be a reason I'm working in news now instead of sports whenever I pick the Wisconsin Badgers. He was nice enough not to mention the fact that I picked a couple other teams that aren't there right now.
I picked several teams that aren't there right now.
Well, I'm pretty sure Wisconsin's my only team left in the Final Four. So yeah, I'm kind of hurting there.
I've got 3 of the 4.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. What are you going to do? I still could win, at least in the newsroom. I'm not going to catch up.
No, I'm not going to catch